The film begins with a woman named Dee entering a posh cafe to meet the main character, Otis. When Dee inquires about their relationship, Otis dismissively responds that there is no us in their relationship. He claims that he prefers casual relationships because people get bored easily. Dee leaves the cafe, heartbroken, but Otis immediately calls another woman and extends an invitation to the restaurant, while making flirtatious eye contact with other female customers. Otis, who has a failing business that he inherited from his mother, tries to convince his Nigerian friend Dele, who is busy organizing his wedding to Rita, to invest in it. In an effort to save his failing business, Otis pledges to plan a destination Yoruba wedding for Dele after overhearing the problems they are having with their event planner. He informs Khalid, a friend he has enlisted to assist him in running the business, of the possibility of an investor. That evening, he throws a surprise birthday party for his friend TK with the help of another friend, Celine, who refuses to take credit for it, but her boyfriend, Richard, believes she should, resulting in a tense moment. Celine and Richard have been dating for 4 years, but they appear to be constantly arguing. Judy is another friend who arrived with her fiancé but is being completely ignored by him. Later, he gets a 3.5 million credit alert from Dele for the wedding event, which makes him happy. TK, who has a major crush on Otis, approaches him and asks him out on a date to thank him for the party. However, before they could agree on a date, Otis's numerous casual flings interfere, and TK walks away disappointed. The next day, he goes over the wedding agreements with the wedding planner. He agrees to pay 3.5 million with an initial deposit of 2 million. After, Otis, who wouldn't keep it in his pants, tries to get saucy with her and let's say, she digs it. Celine and Richard are now seeing an unprofessional relationship therapist who consistently interchanges and mispronounces their names. Celine claims Richard is always in her space. He responds that he began putting in more effort after she called him out the previous year for not putting in enough effort. Just another case of what do women want. In the following scene, we learn that Otis is divorced because he is emotionally distant and promiscuous. Despite this, he maintains his relationship with his ex-partner in order to raise their child. 4 weeks later, and it's now the wedding week, he receives a call from his friend Nandi, the resort manager where the wedding will be held. She's wondering if the wedding is still going on because she hasn't heard anything from the event planner. He dials the event planner's number but is disconnected. He rushes to her office and finds it all cleared out, which throws him into disarray. Coincidentally, Judy pays a visit to her fiancé, who works for her father, and discovers him cheating on her with her father's secretary. Otis arrives at work drunk, demonstrating some really impressive dance moves that I will have to practice later. Khalid summons him to his office, scolds him for appearing drunk and missing yet another important meeting, and then joins him in drinking after Otis tells him everything. TK invites the girls, Celine and Judy, over to celebrate after a significant promotion at work. Celine arrives first and joins her in the bathroom, where she quickly gets busy, girl style. Celine considers the weight of the new job in light of the fact that TK is a baker. Judy walks in and helps herself to a snack, unaware that it has been laced with cannabis, and is immediately knocked out. TK and Celine find her and realized what happened. All attempts to wake her were futile. They went ahead and had fun without her. They discussed their relationship problems, and TK mentioned her lack of love life even after being successful, as well as how humans could simply be polyamorous and if one person could truly make us happy. While Celine complains about her clingy boyfriend, Judy wakes up and sniffs the snack container and it dawns on her. She tells them about her fiancé and Celine consoles her. The following day, Otis makes a video call to all of his friends, and we get to meet Robin, who has been missing from the pack due to motherhood. He requests their assistance in organizing the wedding event after being duped. Robin withdraws because she has children to care for, Khalid too, but he persuades him to come because the success of their business is dependent on the outcome of the wedding. Because TK is on vacation, she declines and refers him to his numerous flings for assistance, but changes her mind when he mentions his aerophobia and the need for her car. Otis, Khalid, Richard, and Celine are on their way to the resort. Otis and Khalid made fun of Richard and Celine's boredom with each other. It quickly backfired when Khalid brought up Otis's commitment phobia and how he was duped. The foursome pulled over for gas, and Celine and Richard got into another argument that is now irrelevant to me. Not long after they resumed, they get pulled over by a bribe-seeking policeman for overspeeding. But since they have no speed gun and Otis knows their tactics, he gives them a condom since he is always packing. They all laughed and the police let him go. When they arrive at the resort, Judy joins them. They are greeted by Nandi, who is immediately taken with Richard and even offers him and Celine a discount on the executive suite when Celine says they don't have the budget for it. When Judy requests the same room, she rudely informs her that she will pay the full rate. The next day, Nandi mentions the lack of event planners, implying that they will have to organize it themselves. Because it is a Yoruba wedding, the Nigerians would fly in the DJ because music is the most important thing. Otis then mentioned the impromptu arrivals of Dele and Rita on Friday, which stresses his friends even more. Otis accepts the job of procuring the cake and even enlists the help of his daughter, but quickly replaces her when the sales personnel offer her assistance. Let us hope that is the case. Richard and Khalid are assigned to kitchen duties, where they meet the head cook. He is an angry man with an unhealthy relationship with his kitchen. While Celine and Judy are in charge of decorations and setting of chairs, Nandi drops by to check on them. Well, we know why she is here. She asks personal questions about Richard, while making inappropriate assertion about him. Celine accommodates her anyway. In the kitchen, Richard recalls 3 things his father told him about women and how he considers them to be nonsense. The head cook overheard everything and said some wise words that I even scribbled down, something about acceptance, support, and love. And with that awakening, Richard goes to Celine and begins spilling over her meditating head. Come on dude, even I know this is a bad timing. When he wouldn't stop talking, she calls him out.
Richard! I have to yell so that you can listen?
Meanwhile, Judy, who is depressed, is drinking soda at the bar. Richard catches her off guard, apologizes, and orders a Moscato. He claims Celine finds it boring and that he wouldn't offer it to her, but she accepts and immediately gulps several of it, despite the fact that she despises alcohol. She attributes this to the current stage of her life, and he compliments her eyes for being overly intense. They go for a walk on the beach and talk about how it's best done with a good company. When she mentions her ex, he grabs her hands and forces her to listen to the remnants of what he had for Celine. Just kidding. Just some words of comfort. They get a brief moment together and he kisses her. The scene then shifts to them having passionate sex that lasted several Mississippi. Unlike DJ from my next recap, do subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified. TK, who had just arrived at the resort, is speechless the next day when she sees Richard and Judy kissing on the balcony. When she enters the room with Judy, she just stares at her, even when Judy questions her. Judy, who is battling guilty conscience, acts strangely with Celine. At a thank you dinner hosted by Otis, she mockingly side talks at the toast to loyalty, during which Celine assures her that everything will be fine. TK observes Judy and Richard as they exchange glances. Following the meal, Celine apologizes to Richard and promises to be better, while Richard struggles with his mind. It is Friday and the Nigerians arrived and we meet Rita's mom, simply known as Auntie, her father and Dele's father. Both men share a likeness for cheap gossip and are only interested in seeing the legendary women of Kenya. After being reacquainted with our new arrivals, Otis shows them what they've put up. Dele and the rest if the gang immediately gets furious at Otis for not organizing a Yoruba wedding. Dele tells him, if he doesn't fix it, he wouldn't be investing anymore. Otis takes some time off to think about his next moves, but he quickly succumbs to his weakness when a beautiful girl walks into the bar. Things get steamy, and they make their way to her room, where they hope to assault each other with their friendly weapons. Otis repeatedly calls TK's name, indicating that he has feelings for her, resulting in the sumptuous lady ending their activities. Meanwhile, Rita and Auntie are venting their rage at TK, whom they mistake for the wedding planner. Before everything goes wrong, they all try to do their part to help. All the men are banished to kitchen duties while Auntie oversees them, despite the head cook's initial refusal. That afternoon, while Otis and TK were picking the flowers at the market, they both danced when a music comes on and almost ended up kissing, before Otis stops it, leaving TK disappointed, again. TK and Rita, who had previously disagreed on issues such as the cake and changes to the event, finally agreed on the choice of flowers. Meanwhile, Richard is considering coming clean with Celine. After several attempts to perfect his speech, she appears and rather than going through with it, he proposes marriage to her. Celine is overjoyed and accepts, but Richard is disappointed in himself. After some time had passed, Dele, who is still skeptical about Otis's business etiquette, inquires from Khalid, whom he had invited to play golf with. Khalid advises him not to proceed with the investment with Otis due to several issues, then goes ahead to pitch his own idea. Later, Otis meets with TK to address their moment at the market, but she ignores him. They get interrupted when Rita walks in with the lady from the bar. Otis, who is surprised, inquires of their relationship and Rita reveals she is Kate, her maid of honor. She draws his attention to a new problem. Because the DJ is unable to attend, he agrees to DJ the event in an attempt to force them to leave before Kate reveals the content of their entanglement. TK is surprised because she knows he knows nothing about DJing but says he will use an app, all the while Kate observes them, noting they have a thing for each other. On the wedding day, Richard informs Otis and Khalid of his intention to marry Celine and learns of her previous sexual relationship with her old friend Josh from Otis. Despite the fact that it occurred years ago, he goes to her, disregarding the fact that she is not alone, and snaps at her, accusing her of never liking him and only using him to get back at her ex for breaking up with her. TK, fed up with his hypocrisy, requests that he tell Celine about him and Judy. Celine walks away as the tables are turned, with him calling after her, During the wedding ceremony, Otis delivers on being the DJ, although he halts Dela's mad moves when his daughter called.
Sorry, it's daughter. Hey, Priya, I'll call you back, okay? Yes, I love you.
Things pick up again, and the bride and her maids display even more crazy moves. Judy becomes emotional as she recalls the wedding she never had. When Judy tried to talk to Celine, she walked out on her. TK misinterprets it for an apology, which Judy clarifies by saying that they should have encouraged her to tell Richard about her ex. This surprises TK, who is even more surprised when Judy becomes emotional upon seeing Richard. Outside, Nandi hits on Richard, but he reaffirms to her of his love for Celine. Celine, who has strategically placed herself, overhears everything. She walks to him as she asserts her dominance, prompting Nandi to leave. Without saying anything, they hug each other, putting the cheating shenanigans behind them. Otis, who is now jealous of Dela's closeness with Khalid and the rest of the guys, approaches him, oblivious to the fact that it is his wedding day, and inquires about the status of their deal. Dela is taken aback by this and responds that he has reviewed the financial report and will not be investing. Otis claims that they require his assistance because it is a family business. Dela, who remains skeptical of its viability, disagrees. Otis recalls the agreement they made. Dela would invest if he organized the wedding. He describes it as a sloppy fix and claims he is not bound by the agreement. The situation worsened when Otis pushed him, but they were separated before it became physical. Nonetheless, Otis succeeds in punching Richard in the face. Meanwhile, the two fathers are betting on the outcome of the fight. Outside, Otis reveals that he has ADHD to TK and that he feels he has lost everything. She assures him that he hasn't, because he still has his business, friends, and women to use whenever he wants. He is irritated by the word use, and she claims he uses her to solve his problems. When she expresses her emotions for him, Otis is unable to express his own emotions for her and instead tells her the outcome of love is heartbreak, and how men, unlike the women, don't heal quickly. She accuses him of being afraid, heartbroken. TK walks away. Because of the tension from the previous night, the friends depart the resort separately. Judy leaves with Otis, who is now facing his fear of flying, and Richard goes with Celine. Khalid completes his agreement with Dela before departing from the newlyweds. Before leaving, Kate tells TK about her time with Otis and how he has feelings for her. The following scene shows Richard and Celine returning to therapy, still attempting to make their relationship work. TK returns to her new job, and Judy tries to find herself through books and nature. While Otis, now on an apology spree, apologizes to Khalid for wasting his time with his dying company. Khalid, who now owns a company, accepts his apology and offers him a job as a negotiator. Otis then meets TK and admits that she has always been there for him and that she is the only person with whom he feels vulnerable. They kissed after she acknowledged the lack of fear in his eyes and how this is the first time he has expressed his emotions to her. Meanwhile, at the hospital, a doctor scans Celine's stomach with a fetal Doppler device, informing her that the baby is healthy and that she will be due in 11 weeks. While leaving the antenatal, the couple notices the now pregnant couple, Khalid and Judy. They exchange brief pleasantries and smiles at Celine and Judy, leaving them even more puzzled. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to help the channel out. Drop a comment telling us what you think, with a recommendation of what you would like to see next.